Hi everybody and welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole and today we are here for Slow Stitching Saturday, so let's get started. Everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while we get a little bit of crafting done today. As I said in the intro, it is Slow Stitching Saturday, so this is for me, my interpretation of Slow Stitching Saturday is anything that is done by hand. So cross stitch, embroidery, any sort of English paper piecing, and any other craft that I come across that is done by hand. So today I am working on the Dilly Pincushion. This was what spun up last time we were together, and it has been some time since we were together last. I have just had a lot on and have been a little bit MIA. So this is by Birdhouse Patchwork Designs, and I got this when I went to the Brisbane Quilt Show last year. So as I said, it's spun up. We've put all of my slow stitching projects onto a wheel. We will be spinning the wheel again today in just a little bit, and we'll see what we'll be working on next week. All right, so we've spun up a couple of new starts. So one was the Sashiko one, and then there was this one as well. So I'm hoping that I will get some of these spun up again, and then we can get some more stitches in it. Some of the projects I actually have been working off camera and just doing stitching while I'm waiting for videos to upload and all the rest of it. All right, so if you would like to join me for some slow stitching and you are looking to do a project and you maybe want to do this one, I'll leave some links down below where I know that you can get this from. At the time of filming it, I hadn't actually done that, so that's why I can't say where they're from, but I will endeavour to find somewhere where you can get them. And I will also, I cannot remember, yes they do, they actually have a website, so if you want to go to their website, they may possibly have downloadable ones. So it is that is the web address there. It is thebirdhouse.com.au. So you might be able to find it over there, and it is pattern D340. Okay, and it's copywritten for 2017, so it's a relatively new one. These are the things that you're going to need. I've got my hoop as well. I've got some marking tools just in case my friction pen runs out. I've got a lead pencil with a fine lead in it. You're going to need some little thread snips. Optional extra is some washi tape, and I generally use this to put the design down. You're going to need your embroidery needles. Of course, you're going to need a pattern, but if you've got something of embroidery that you've been meaning to get some stitches in, go grab it. Pause the video, go grab it, make yourself a cuppa, and come back and get some stitches into that project. And of course, you're going to need a little needle threader as well, and I'm just going to put mine onto calico. This is a calico that I have in store here. And of course, you're going to need all of your little bits and pieces of floss. So I am using CXC threads, and it's the same numbers as the DMC. So I will I don't actually have a link for it, I don't think. I will have to double check that, but there is a shop that I shop at on AliExpress called The Factory Shop, and that's where I get my CXCs from. They are brilliant to deal with. I have recommended it to a lot of people, and they've all said exactly the same thing as well. Very helpful and all that sort of stuff. So I tend to use the CXC stuff. I've had this here for ages. Of course, I've got DMC and also Cosmo. When I'm doing embroidery, Cosmo is my favourite thread to use for embroidery, but for something like a Pincushion, that I'm happy just to use the CXC or DMC. But for my bigger projects like my quilts and stuff like that, I use Cosmo threads, which is by Leithen, I think is how you pronounce it. You're also going to need a light box as well. So this is just a little light pad that I have. Just turn my power pack on and it should come on. Yep, that's working fine. This is just a USB one, and I've just got a little power pack that I plug it into, so it makes it nice and portable. I got it originally for retreats and whatnot. Now, in your pattern, it gives you all the instructions of everything that you need, what to do, how to make it, finish it, and all that sort of stuff into a pincushion. It tells you all of the what colors are going on and its backstitch, whether it's one strand or two strands. So, yeah, general consensus in a general stuff that you find in a embroidery pattern. Okay, so this is the design that I'm tracing out, and as I said, I've got my light box, and this is where the washi tape comes in handy because it doesn't leave residue. Many years ago I used to use masking tape, but after a while it started to leave a bit of residue, and then I just started getting a washi tape, and I just put a piece at the top, smooth it out, and a bit at the bottom, which I don't think you can see, that's pretty much off camera there. And then and that should be enough to hold it, but just to make sure, I will put down one on either side. And then I know that it's not going anywhere. Then I'm going to just place my piece of calico over the top, and we'll turn our light on. Keep forgetting to turn my little power pack on. 3. So I don't know whether you're actually going to be able to see that or not, but you can see there that maybe just a little bit you can see it. I've got to trace that out. So I know that my pattern piece underneath is not going to move, so I'll just grab my friction pen, and this is where I'm going to get my magnifiers on, just so I don't strain my eyes because they are a little bit tired at the moment. And basically I am just going to start tracing it out. And I am using a friction pen because it will just iron off when I need it to. I might just turn that light off at the top. There we go, that's a bit better. Thinking, gosh, I must be going blind, I can't see. So sorry there's no light. You probably can see that a little bit better yourselves now. I've got little bees and stuff on there. Okay, so we have got that all traced out, and I have a hoop here that is actually a tabletop one that I've had here. I've used it for candle wicking and stuff like that. So basically, I've pulled it out of storage. This one's actually Savannah's one. She was using the littlest one, but you can see there that you just drape it over, and I'm going to center that up, and then I'm just going to pop this over, and then we'll tighten that up. Ooh, go the right way. And then we'll just tighten that up. Got a little screwdriver there, yes I do. Makes it a little bit easier. These were made by a local gentleman. He doesn't do them anymore, but I've had this for about 10 years, 11 years now, maybe a bit longer, maybe closer to 12. And I find them really good to use, especially on the tabletop for embroidery. I normally do embroidery in hand, but because I'm filming, I am just going to use this little hoop. Alright, so I'm just getting that nice and tight. So that's drum tight. That's how I want it. And I've tightened that up really well with the little screwdriver as well. But as I was saying, there was a gentleman that used to make them. He no longer does that anymore. So, yeah, I can't get them anymore. But you can find something similar. It's just got 3 legs, and yeah. And it's great for candle wicking. It's great for French knots and stuff like that. And we've got a few of those in here, but we've also got some backstitch and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so I am going to take some of this excess fabric off because I don't need all that on there. So bear with me for a sec. Just going to, because it's only a little piece of scrap that I had. It was a lot bigger than what I needed. So I just, now that we've got it in the hoop, I'm happy for it to stay in that hoop because it's not going to be a long project, and I'm just trimming it off. I've got enough in that hoop to finish it off. All right, so let's get rid of that rubbish. That's all done, and I just use the pinking shears there because I've got calico and I don't want it to fray. All right, so we've got that nice and secure. Sounds like a drum. We need to now just adjust the camera a little bit. Bring that up a little bit further. That should be fine for you. Can you see that? Yep. And then we can start stitching this out. All right, so we've got our threads, and we'll just get our colour legend and what we're going to be stitching. Let me just see. They have marked the chalk around the outside, but I can do that later. That's fine. But you can see here we've got all the bits and pieces that we need, and I'm gonna start with that running stitch, which is the dash circle, which is blue. So that is this color here. All right, let's get a bit out, and it is to use unless it's stated otherwise. We use 2 strands, like anything, and so I'm just going to pull a bit out. I'm keeping all my floss in that little container there because it's just going to make it a lot easier to keep track of it. All right, where is my needle? Needle threader. The CXC threads are a little bit thicker, so you will need a needle threader to get them to play nice with you, but they are a nice thread to use. They don't necessarily knot up or anything like that, and once you get them through, it's okay. It's just you need to use a needle threader for it. It just makes it life so much easier. All right, I'm just going to use a waist knot over here. And then we're just going to do our running stitch. all the way around. So now that we've got this all, let me just, that's why the blue tack's there, to stop it from sliding around. So let me just, because it slides around on this bench, so I just flatten it out and put it underneath. And that will stop it from sliding around. The things you've got to do when you've got it on camera. Let's adjust that a little bit more. All right, there we go. And that should be fine now. It's a pretty colour too. All right, is that illuminated enough for you guys? There we go. How's that? That's a bit better, isn't it? Okay, I do not know what happened. I started stitching and my camera turned off for some reason. So I have no idea what happened there. But anyway, I've done some stitching. I've done some I don't even know if it showed me putting it in or not. So anyway, I'm using CXC thread in case it's not there, and I'm using number 597, and we're doing some running stitch at the moment. So I was just saying that I haven't really done much. We've spent some time with like our family over the Easter break, and we just had a really relaxed and chilled time. So I haven't done much stitching or anything like that, but I am enjoying the slow stitching Saturday because I'm able to, you know, get these projects done that I've had for a while. And I've got another one of these that is similar. I think it's actually from the same company as well. And I'll leave a link down below where you can get these from. I am actually not affiliated with Birdhouse Designs, is it? Where's the paper? Yeah, the Birdhouse Designs, Patchwork Designs. I'm not affiliated with them. It's just something that I picked up at the quilt show. So if you're interested in it, I'll leave the links down below. You can go and check their website out. Yeah, and so I've been having a lot of fun getting these projects done. One of the things that I have been doing, and my Patreon members would have seen this, I've been doing little updates when I've worked on any of the projects over there. I have been using these projects in between videos as I'm uploading them and exporting them and stuff like that, because I've got to keep an eye on that's all happening when it's exporting. So that gives me 5 or 10 minutes, and I've just had them sitting there, and basically yeah, I've been doing a little bit here and there and getting more progress done. Now I can hear you all asking, have I finished the table runner? No, I have not. I haven't even looked at it, because I have been crazy busy sorting out stuff for Patreon and everything in the last month, so I haven't really done a great deal on that. I'm so close to a finish. I'm almost disappointed in myself, but you know, these things happen. It is what it is, and yeah, there's not much we can do about it right now. Basically I will get it finished. I know I will get it finished. Let me just see if this number is used anywhere else. The berries, okay, which are the berries. Let me have a look at this picture on the front. Oh, it's hard to tell. Oh yes, I can see where they are, and they're in a back stitch and French knots in the center. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to basically come up here. Did that just put a knot in it? Yes, it did. And I'm going to cut a bit off. I can rethread that later and weave that through. So I'm a bit of a messy embroiderer. I like to just, I have my waist knots and all my bits and pieces. It just makes it, I don't know, I just find it easier. All right, where have we got a lot of berries over here? So I'm going to pop my waist knot in here. And then we're going to do back stitch. And I might just spin this a bit so it's a bit closer to me. I put blue tack underneath. I don't know if that got on the camera before, and that just holds it, stops it from slipping and sliding. But I've got to get it to sit down, and that's what the blue tack was on there for. It just makes it easier for me to keep it stable when I'm filming. all the technical stuff. There you go, look at that, some blue tack. Such a pretty colour too. So yeah, the Patreon has launched. That launched on the 1st of April, and we've got a few projects on the go over there at the moment. We've got some tutorials coming up as well, and lots of different things. Lots of things are happening over there. So if that's something that you're interested in, by all means, click the link down below. Go over, have a look. All the information is laid out there for you. If you have any questions at all, you can always email me and ask me those questions. I've had several people email me and whatnot about it, so I am happy to answer your questions. Don't be shy. It's cute. This is so cute. It's going to make a gorgeous little pincushion. I do have to find some fabric though to use around the for the Suffolk puffs. This here, I just don't know what color. I'm not sure whether I want to do it in blue or not. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what appealed to me in the first place, so maybe I should just go with the blue. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it, won't we? So yeah, so as I was saying, I don't know whether that caught on camera or not, but if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But I have been doing some updates for behind the scenes and everything on Patreon, and so there's been some updates about things that I've worked on that you've seen on Slow Stitching Saturday over there. So if updates and behind the scenes stuff, there's a cross stitch magazine. That's all our first tier, which is our bronze tier. You can always go over and check it out, because if you become a Patreon, that actually helps me to keep bringing great free projects and all that sort of stuff for the channel as well. It helps me to continue and to maintain my YouTube channel. So if you're wondering why I've got a Patreon, very cute. All right, now we've got to do a French knot in the middle of each one. These are great for these hoops. Table hoops are awesome for doing intricate work with French knots and stuff like that. I love it. It makes my life a lot easier. Okay, let me just bring that up. As I was saying before, I am quite a messy. I end up having all these threads everywhere because it just makes it easier to do all the threading and everything on the back at the end of a video as opposed to doing it during the video. So while it looks all messy, it won't be like that. I get rid of all my waist knots and everything, so you won't have to worry about that at all. These little hummingbird needle threaders are absolutely brilliant. Like they're just really sturdy and whatnot. And yeah, I haven't had a problem with them. I got this one a couple of years ago through the Fat Quarter Shop sampler box, and yeah, I use it quite a bit for hand stitching and stuff. Obviously I'm not good at threading my needles. Just get missing it. Oh, too far away from it, that's what the problem is. I'm sure you don't need to see me thread a needle, but anyway. Let me just get that thread again. All right, that took a bit, but I got it. Anyway, as I was saying, those little hummingbird, they're great. It's just that this is really thick thread, and the eye of the needle's a little bit dodgy. But it's got a little thread cutter in it as well, and then it's got a protector to protect the little threader, and it's quite a solid little threader too. Like, and I'll leave a link down below where you can get them. You can get them in bulk packs and stuff through, I think it's Dritz actually do them. I can't remember. It's been that long since I got it. But I'll leave a link down below for you and you can go and check it out. Yeah, any little tool that is helpful for threading needles, especially as we get older and our eyes start to age and whatnot, it becomes a little bit problematic. This is a little bit thicker thread too than the 2 strands of DMC, so it can be a little bit tiresome to try and thread the needle at times. It's okay if you're putting 1 strand through, but when you start putting 2 strands through just through a small eye, it can be a little bit of an issue. But for the most part, it's pretty easy with one of those little threaders. So if you're having problems, I highly recommend them. So yeah. All right, so as I was saying before, I don't know whether I want to go with a blue, and I'm thinking that I might get like a little tilde pack or something for this, because I think the tilde fabric would look really pretty, really sweet around the outside, as well as for the backing. I really like it. But I'm not 100% sure because that's a little bit plain. I think I'd like a little bit of patterned fabric around the outside. What do you reckon? Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think. If you've got any ideas, I'm always open to ideas. Very much so. So hopefully my camera won't switch off again. I don't know what happened then. Just switched off. And the phone wasn't hot or anything, so I don't know why. The only time, if I'm using an app and filming, it'll cut out, which is a bit of an issue, but it gets too hot. So there's not much I can do about that though, except get a fan for it, but then that's going to be pretty noisy. Do our French knots. I love the sound of that thread going through there. Okay. All right, now what are we up to now? Let's do the words. Words are in a 502. So the words around the centre are in 502, so that is the colour that we're going to use. Sort of lost my cross stitch mojo, stitching mojo, which is a shame, but I'm sure it'll come back. Just lots of stuff going on, and yeah, you know how it is, not enough hours in the day for anything extra. And I don't know, just sort of up and left. Wasn't expecting it, but it up and left. So anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully it'll come back. But I think I'm just really enjoying doing some other stuff, other sort of stitching as well. So maybe that's why, who knows. But you'll be the first to know when it comes back, because there'll be lots of floss tubes, I'm sure. That was a noisy car that just went past. But getting lots of reading done as well, which has been great. Just been finishing my days off with a good couple of hours of reading, which I've been really enjoying. Really, really enjoying. It's a nice way to finish the day off. No, not being on your phone or anything like that. So yeah, been thoroughly enjoying that. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you're working on today, if you're enjoying your weekend so far. My weekend has gone to plan so far. It's been nice. I've gone to the gym and done my 40 minutes of walking, and I've had my breakfast. And
okay, so I don't know what's happened with my phone on this particular day of filming. It cut out. Now my audio was corrupted and all that sort of stuff. So here I am with the microphone doing a voiceover. I cannot remember for the life of me what I was talking about in this. I do believe I was talking about going to the gym. And you'll have to excuse me, my voice is quite croaky this morning. We've had a lot of wind here and whatnot, and I seem to be all stuffed up. I don't generally suffer from allergies or anything like that. I'm just a little bit change of weather. If you've been here for a while, you know how my voice goes during the winter months. It's not that crash hot. I'm guessing as I get older, my voice is probably going to get a lot worse. So my family's probably going, yeah, we won't have to listen to her prattle on all the time about craft and books and whatnot. So yeah, anyway, my weekend turned out to be really good on this particular weekend. Now, I filmed this not last week, the week before, at the end of the week, and then I was having internet problems, so I didn't get it up on that Saturday, unfortunately, so I do apologise. I have a temporary fix for those that have been wondering what's been going on with my internet. On Thursday, I wasn't able to do a live stream because it was non-existent, but it wasn't just me, it was also my neighbour as well, so we knew it was something to do with the actual pit out the front. We've since had someone come. I have a temporary solution right now. It is, I'm on the Wi-Fi network, and it is working for the most part. So that means that I can still edit and I can still do everything that I need to do. However, the live streaming might be an issue because the app that I use, it wants you to use a cable connection, not a Wi-Fi. So I don't know how that's going to go. So I may end up having to do some premieres for the live streams. I'm still going to do one on Thursday. Yesterday I did one on my booktube channel, And for the most part, I've gone back and had a look at it because I can't actually tell if there's a problem in the app. Like when I'm using the app, I cannot tell if there's a problem. I rely on people to tell me. The BookTube community doesn't really care if you're fuzzy because they're there for sprints. They're not getting shown anything or like that. We're just chit-chatting and all that sort of stuff. So I'm generally chit-chatting with people that are in the comments, and then we go to a 45-minute break and we read. And so I just have a screen up there that most people aren't even looking at. So basically I don't know. I haven't heard anything. No one said anything yesterday. But when I went and had a look at the replay, it looked okay for the most part. So I'm going to try on Thursday to do a live stream with the Wi-Fi and see how we go. Hopefully, they said that they were coming back early in the week. So hopefully I won't have to use the Wi-Fi. It should be just okay because they'll fix it early in the week. Because I'm a business account, I have been bumped up. So I have a priority. Lucky for my neighbour because we're on the same pit. And sorry about my voice. I do apologise. Very, very croaky at the moment. So hopefully that'll be fixed early in the week. So I am going to do a live stream next Thursday to continue on. I'm sorry that I disappointed everybody. I was on the phone at the time and I was trying to do a million things at once to get a notification out, and then I got sidetracked with the phone and completely forgot about it. And then a few people were messaging me and all the rest of it, and I do appreciate your concern, everybody. It was lovely. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to do that. It's just, it's a sucky situation. What can you do? Anybody here in Australia knows, Telstra is not the easiest company to deal with. Especially when they own all the infrastructure in your country town. That's who you've got to deal with. You can't really go with anybody else. And I ended up going with Telstra for my NBN because, and this is the thing, if I had have gone with, there were better deals out there. Definitely better deals. But because Telstra owns the infrastructure, it meant that I wouldn't get priority if something went wrong with it. So I wouldn't get a priority, like an express priority for a modem. I wouldn't get express priority for things getting fixed in the pit and stuff like that. I would be put on a waiting list and I would have to wait. So if that meant that it was months that I had to wait, it was months I had to wait because Telstra customers come first. So that, after doing some pretty heavy research, my best friend and I researched the heck out of it. And so that's why I ended up going for Telstra. And luckily I did, because the day that I and my neighbour had nothing, they came out that afternoon. Because we live in a country town, we have techs that are here. Sometimes we don't have the correct tech here in town, but yeah, anyway, they were here. So they got here pretty quick and they got the Wi-Fi sorted out for me, the aspect of it sorted out for me. So there is still some problem. He didn't really go into great detail, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. I will hopefully, fingers crossed, have full internet again. Just need a sip of a coffee. So what else has been happening? As I was talking about a little bit earlier, I've been going into the gym. I have managed to do I've been doing this for a couple of weeks, so 2 weeks now. 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Can't remember now. I think I started around the 17th of April, so 2 weeks. So 4 days last week and 4 days this week. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm aiming to be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. And my body is starting to adjust to it because, and I was talking about this, I realised after I was on my live stream yesterday on BookTube that, because I said, I woke up at 4:30 and it's an ungodly hour. I was wide awake and I'm like, I've got off, and I was sitting there last night and look, I fell asleep yesterday afternoon because I woke up so early. And then I was sitting there last night thinking about it while I was reading, and I'm like, yeah, I know why I'm waking up. I remember when I first started in the gym way back when we first put it together, which is 10 years ago now, 8 years ago or something like that. And when I first started in the gym, because I haven't changed my diet or anything like that, and that's pretty, it's okay. It's not perfect, and it probably never will be, but I'm endeavouring to get it back to where I'm happy with what I'm eating and stuff like that. But I'm not doing that for at least 5 to 6 weeks because I just want to focus on the gym, making sure that I'm going 5 days a week. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting on the treadmill and I'm walking. And I'm doing that every day. And I just get out there and do 30 to 40 minutes. And I've been, for the most part, between 38 and 40 minutes, 42 minutes and stuff like that. So, yeah, and I remembered back when I started doing the gym that I would end up waking up at the crack of dawn, like not even the crack of dawn, sometimes before that. So there was a whole spate, and some of you that have been around for a while, especially a lot of my American viewers and stuff like that, like Andra and Becky and even Biz from Canada and all those lovelies that have been with me on my online journey for a very long time will remember that I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'd be chit-chatting to them. And like Andrea used to always say to me, she goes, "What are you doing awake? You should be asleep." I'm like, I don't know, I'm just wide awake. So anyway, I remembered that was a side effect when I first, like after about 3 weeks, it settled down. So if I look a little bit zombified on some of my videos in the next couple of weeks, you'll know why, because I've been, it started like within 2 weeks it started. And I noticed, because when was that? So that was Friday morning, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. and I noticed that, on Thursday morning I woke up a little bit early too, and I thought, well, it wasn't as early as 4:30, and I thought it was really strange because I had quite a late night, and I'm like, why am I awake for? And yeah, and then it was last night I was sitting there going, oh, that's right, now I remember. So I've got to get through this. It's just till my body adjusts and then I settle down into a routine. So I have my bedtime routine. I go to bed, go and get under the covers at around 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then I read for a couple of hours. I try not to be on my device or anything like that, and I just read. Sometimes, I've got an ebook or whatever, but I actually have a Kindle which has a backlight and it makes it look like paper, so it's not the same light as my mobile phone. I generally don't read on my mobile phone. I used to read on my tablet, but I don't do that anymore because I found that was disturbing my sleep too much, and so I don't do that. Unless it's absolutely necessary. But for the most part, I have a physical book, and so I just turn my phone to silent. I turn it upside down, and I've got lights in my room that I just got from IKEA. When was that? That must have been about in January I got them, and they are like, you remember those old-fashioned oil lamps that they used to have? They have a wick, you light it, and it has that, like the glow of a candle, but it's with, some sort of oil or kerosene. There used to be kerosene ones as well. I got a couple of those looking ones, and they put off the same sort of glow, so it's like a yellow light, and it's so pretty, and it's adjustable, so I can dim it or I can have it bright. So I can dim it right down if I'm just, wanting to relax, just just drift off and meditate or whatever the case may be. I can turn it right down, or I can turn it up to read, and it's just like reading by a lantern, and it's so soft on the eyes, and so I get a good couple of hours of reading before I go to sleep. And then at 20 past 11 I basically close my book. I go to the toilet, fluff the pillows, get into bed and go to sleep. And my husband gets quite creaky with me because once I set myself to a routine, and that's what I do, I go to sleep pretty much instantly. And I have no issues with getting to sleep. It's the staying asleep. So and then throw exercise into that. Obviously my metabolism is getting boosted because I'm walking, and then I'm eating right, so eating clean and all that sort of stuff. So when I'm going to sleep, I'm going into such a deep sleep, and that's why my voice is a bit croaky at the moment, because I also snore, and apparently I snore like a bear or a cluster of bears, as has been rudely pointed out by my family. But I think that's a lot to do with, one, menopause, two, I'm overweight. So I'm hoping if I lose a little bit, like if I lose some weight, get down to 70 kilos, because I'm at 80 kilos now. I was at 75 kilos, and then I've put a few kilos on because I just got slack and didn't really care. And then there's Easter and all the things. And then I was busy with Patreon, so I wasn't, doing anything. I was just eating when I could and all that sort of stuff. So after I had the surgery and all the rest of it, they said I had to wait 2 weeks. So I waited the 2 weeks because I wanted to start this back in beginning of April. So it was delayed for 2 weeks, which is fine. So for the foreseeable future, all I'm going to do is walk for the next 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. I've already gone from a pace of 3.5 to 4.5. And so I'm slowly increasing it because I want to increase it up to where I was 7 years ago. I used to walk at a pace on the treadmill at about 7 to 8, I think it was. It was a really brisk walk, verging on a jog. Now, I don't want to jog or anything like that because I hurt my legs and whatnot. And I know that some of you who are on Patreon have already heard me talk about this, so I do apologise. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with that. And then once I've done that, I'll look at my food and go to clean eating again and all that sort of stuff. And I do like to do intermittent fasting. Now, this is something that I don't often talk about on my channel. I have talked about it. But I actually, my thyroid doesn't work. So I'm on medication for my thyroid, and for the most part, I control it. But clean eating and intermittent fasting is really key, and not drinking a lot of coffee. And see, I'm doing all that at the moment. So by drinking a lot of coffee and all that sort of stuff, that seems to make me put on weight. And so I find that if I have too many stimulants or anything like that, I can get really fatigued really quickly. And I get adrenal fatigue as well. And of course the thyroid is part of, all of that, operating all of that sort of stuff as well. So throw that in on top, and you've got a little ticking time bomb waiting to go off. So basically, a lot of people, when they find out that I have a thyroid condition and that I don't actually have a thyroid, and I do have a thyroid, but it just doesn't work. So it's in there, but it'd be no different than if it was removed. Like it's like it's basically non-existent. So when people find out that I actually do have that condition, they're like, how do you do all the things that you do? I take naps and I do listen to my body. And if I'm having a bad thyroid day, I take the day. And I can fit a lot of stuff into my day and whatnot. But I haven't had a full-on bad one. I've had a couple where I've had like massive headaches and I've just felt really brain foggy, and it's just not happening for me. And so on those days I will just read. If I've got a headache, obviously I won't read because that just doesn't work for me. And so basically, it's just, it gets a bit much and whatnot. So by walking and doing the clean eating and the intermittent fasting, that really helps me get through my day, because once I eat and whatnot, I start to slow down and I want to just relax for the day. So I tend not to eat until, I drink lots of water and all that sort of stuff, and then I tend not to eat until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then when I'm clean eating, I'll have a smoothie of some sort. So it'll be, apples and vegetables put in there, spinach, all that sort of stuff, maybe a handful of almonds, because almonds actually help with headaches. Especially if I feel like I've got a bit of a twinge coming on, I'll eat a handful of almonds, and that tends to alleviate a lot of the symptoms that I get from my headaches and stuff like that. So, I'll chuck in some almonds and I'll have that to start my day. And then about an hour after I have that, sometimes 2 hours after I have that, I'll have like a large, like as if I'm having lunch. so to speak. And so I'll have a large salad, or I might have a wrap, or I might have my miso soup, which is absolutely divine. And I have lots of vegetables and stuff in that. And then usually around 7 or 7:30, I will have my main meal. And then by 8 o'clock, 8:30, I don't want to be eating again. I'm not super stringent on it. It's just those hours I don't eat, because then I'm in bed anyway. Sometimes if I get hungry, if I'm a little bit extra hungry, or I've done a little bit of extra exercise or something like that, I'll chuck in a piece of fruit after dinner and whatnot, maybe an hour after dinner. But I try not to eat anything for at least 14 hours to 15 hours a day. And that works pretty good for me. Sometimes I can go as long as 18 hours between meals, but I do, and some people do just one meal a day. I cannot do that, because that generally puts me into ketosis, and I can't go into ketosis because I get a rash all over my body. It's almost like prickly heat. Some people have described it, a lot of men have described it like jockey itch, but I get it over my entire body, like prickly heat, so I'm itchy all over. And so I don't do that, because I don't want to be in discomfort, and that my body's telling me that it's not the right thing to do. But I can do intermittent fasting, and I find that works really well for me, because I don't get tired in the hours, and I can fit a lot in. After I've done exercise, I feel like I'm bouncing off the walls, and I feel very energetic and whatnot. So I just get stuck into my day. So I'll do my filming, I'll do my editing, I'll do my sewing, I'll do everything that I need to do. And then around 2 o'clock, that's when I start slowing down, and that's when I start having my meals, and I feel really good. And I sleep a lot better too. And so that's where I want to get back to. That's what I'm aiming for. Just to get back to that health and everything. And that's where I was at 7 years ago, before Mia come to live with us. And I want to get back to that, because I felt really good back then. I felt like I had control over my thyroid. And I know it's 7 years on, but I still don't feel like I'm super unhealthy, unfit. I'm just a little bit unfit, but I don't feel like I'm super unfit. And I want to, when I'm walking, I want to get to a point where, as I said, up to about 7 or 8 onto that jog. And then after I get to that, and then I sort my food out. So in about 3 months' time, I will start adding in weight resistance, and all that sort of stuff. So to really tone up my body and all that sort of stuff. But the walking tones me anyway, because I have a proper treadmill that I can do an incline and all that sort of stuff with as well. So that makes it super easy to get some toning, especially in your legs and your thighs and stuff like that. Walking up a hill makes you work a little bit harder. And all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at. And so you probably will see some difference in my face and stuff when I do my intros, because you don't really see my body as such on my videos. You only really see my face when I do my intros and my outros. So yeah, the other thing that I'm doing at the moment, and if you haven't been around for a while, I'm also growing my hair out, growing the grey out. I've decided to embrace the grey. So I'm about halfway through. I am going to the hairdressers, and some of you probably remember at the beginning of the year I decided that I was no longer buying into the premise of dyeing my hair and forking over all this money, because for me my hair's really thick, it's very absorbent, it takes a lot of time and all that sort of stuff, and it was pretty long at the beginning of the year. I've actually had it cut off and up to shoulder length, and it was about halfway down my back. And so I decided that I wasn't going to do that. So now what I'm doing is every 3 months I am going to the hairdressers and getting hair trimmed off, so my hair will stay at shoulder length for the foreseeable future, and growing the grey out, like getting rid of all the dyed hair and just having grey hair. And I'm actually really liking the colour of my grey hair. It's not that bad. Actually, it's a really nice colour. So I'm pretty happy with it. And my hairdresser even said, she goes, it's a really nice colour. You wouldn't even be able to get this from a dye. So I'm pretty happy that that's all happening. And I also am no longer getting my nails done. So this year alone, just not doing that, I ended up getting some stuff off AliExpress, and that's what you can see on my nails right now. It's just a hardener, so they can grow a little bit and repair, because they're quite damaged from getting the false nails. But so far this year, if I had gone to the hairdressers in the first quarter, that would have cost me nearly $400, and I was getting my nails done every 3 weeks, so that is another $150. So I've saved myself about $550. And I haven't got my pedicures or anything done either. So, because most times if I go to the nail salon, I was getting a pedicure done as well, which put it up to $100. So technically, I've saved in the first quarter $800. Now, I also haven't been buying coffee either. So that's also $35 a week that I've been saving as well. So I'm close to $950, roughly. Hang on, I'm over $1,000 in savings this year just by not doing those things anymore. Now, I have bought a coffee and I have gone out for lunch with my daughters and all that sort of stuff. So that sort of brings it back down again. So I'm pretty happy with those total savings overall. Like, it's been hard because I like going and getting a pedicure done, and I like going and getting my hair done, and I like having my nails done because they look pretty, and it's a little bit of me time. But I'm actually enjoying, putting a little bit of glitter on my nails and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I think that is a considerable amount of saving. Will I be doing it again next year? I think I will, because that's a lot of money to save in a year. Like, if you think about it, that's nearly, with coffees and nails and all the rest of it, I'm going to be saving about $3-4 grand. Like, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that saving. Leave me a comment down below. Have you stopped doing that sort of stuff? Have you stopped forking out and not buying into this adage that we have to have the nails and the hair and the eyebrows and all that sort of stuff? I'm just learning to do it all myself, which is really, really helping.
All right, so I've done a little bit of stitching now. Now let's cut to the video and find out what I'm going to be stitching on for next week's video. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Alright, so we spun up 4 seasons, so that means that I'm going to get some progress in on this one. Now, I have been working on this one for a little while now over at the video, and I have actually got a fair bit done. So let me just move some stuff out of the way and I can show you what I've got done, and hopefully next week we will have this almost finished. So I decided, I think I talked about this maybe on my Patreon, I'm not 100% sure, but I had a bit of a chit chat somewhere on the socials what I wanted to do with these. So I have decided that I'm going to turn these into a quilt. So I have a quilt show coming up soon, and basically I will get a few more of these where they're just the panels. I think I've got a couple more laying around not laying around, but in a cupboard as well. I've got to go and check for that, and I'm going to do them all in red. And then the fabrics that I'm going to use some Japanese fabrics, and I'm thinking that I'm going to go with the blues for that. I don't know, I just have a thing for blue at the moment, and red. But you can see I've got a fair bit done. So next week we will be doing a little bit more on this, and hopefully we can get a fair bit done and get a lot of it finished. And I think the red looks really good against the white, so I'm going to get a few different ones when I go to the quilt show this year, because this is generally where I get my sashiko from, and then I'll be able to make a nice quilt. I'm thinking about 9 panels maybe, and then maybe some just strips to separate the panels, I think would be a good way to go. But yeah, I really, really like how striking that red is. All right, I'm going to continue on with some stitching, and yeah, so that's what we're going to be working on next week. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that for today. I will work on this during the week when I'm exporting videos and whatnot, and I might get a little bit more done. And I just realized that I missed a little bit of a the couple of berries there, so I'll have to go back and do those. Yeah, so I'm glad that you were able to join me today. I hope that you got some stitching in, and as always, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. Go over and check out our Patreon page as well. But that's it from me today. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will see you in the next